So let's talk about 9/11, because the most important thing we have to remember on 9/11 is, since for all the Molly lovers, they're talking about remember our heroes and stuff like that. Remember the heroes, including the furry ones, the dogs who went in for 9/11 to search for people, fam. That's Brittany, the last surviving search and rescue dog who worked at Ground Zero in New York City after the terrorist bomb was.
Wait, the dog's not alive anymore.
That's the last remaining one. I don't know if it's.
What?
I don't think the dog's alive anymore.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, the dog would have to live plus 20 years. But
well, you know, everybody was talking about remember the heroes, and I surely don't want to forget about the heroes, nor the people who died, and all the millions of people who died after it. But we have to talk about Krugman's tweet, fam. This is just so screwed up.
Okay, so this person, just before we even talk about him, I'm just gonna go over here and look how many. A Nobel laureate, the OP, a columnist for the New York Times Opinion, an author, 4.6 million followers. I mean, I've lost faith in humanity.
He's a Clintonite.
You want to read this?
It says, so it's 9/11. It's hard to remember now how large the terrorist attack loomed at our national psyche. After all, in death toll, COVID-19 is already the equivalent of 60 9/11s, but a few thoughts and recollections. One, overall, Americans took 9/11 pretty calm. Notably, there wasn't a mass outbreak of anti-Muslim sentiment and violence, which could all too easily have happened. And while George Bush was a terrible president, to his credit, he tried to calm prejudice, not feed it. Fam, this is where we gotta stay right. Let's stop right there, because that is the smoking gun comment. Look at the retweets of this one, and the retweets with quotes. He got lit up like a Christmas tree on this one, this douchebag over here. I can remember in Boca Raton, Florida, and I wasn't there. I saw this and stuff. There was a Muslim girl who got her ass so badly beat, you know what I'm saying, 9/11, and it was really sad to see. And I know, I mean, listen, I'm not going to say this was a national outbreak, but to play this down like there wasn't any anti-Muslim sentiment, it was ridiculous. We saw people who got their mosque burnt down. This is very, very insensitive. And the praising of George Bush, he was a terrorist, but to his credit, he tried to calm prejudice, not feed it, by invading all the countries over there, fam.
Johnny and I were very young, especially Johnny. But I remember being in class, and like I remember kids, like little kids, being like, yeah, let's bomb those terrorists. Let's go get them. And I just remember all the Muslim kids getting attacked, getting like bullied, getting shit taken from them. Like literally, you did not want to be Muslim. Well, I lived in Missouri, so it was Republican, of course. So people were cheering when Bush won, and then when 9/11 happened, it was like, forget it. Like there was no way you were gonna be brown, like a Muslim brown kid, and not be called a terrorist or something. So to say that didn't happen to me, it's just, I'm like, what reality is this man living in? And like, and to he's a war criminal. George Bush is a war criminal, because he didn't. Not only the thousands of people died at the World Trade Center, and I'm not minimizing that that's horrible, because these people had absolutely nothing to do with what we were trying to do, but millions of people abroad, of Iraqi people, of people subsequently who went into the war in the Middle East, and the civilians, those people, they never get like a day of, let's remember them, even though we killed innocent people when they didn't do something we said they did. Yeah. That's what people don't talk about. They don't talk about the fact that it was all based on a pack of lies. Still, people of lies today. Still, people today are over there saying hashtag never forget. Never forget what? That the government lied to you, and now Julian Assange is sitting in prison because he literally exposed the war crimes by these motherfuckers, and he's literally rotting away in jail because like he told people about this shit. Yeah. Like what we did. The torture. Yeah, and the never forget thing is usually to kind of like refocus the anger where it shouldn't be. Like, in other words,
Bill Maher got attacked for saying, why did they attack us? And we should be asking the questions, why did they attack us? The president at the time, fam, didn't even know the difference between a Sunni and a Shia was, really, to tell you the truth. And this tweet over here is just to go at Donald Trump. He goes, he's a terrible president, but to his credit, he did try to calm prejudice, not feed it. And this guy, Donald Trump is anti-Muslim.
Bush was far worse than Donald Trump.
The Muslim ban, what I'm saying? He told Ilham Omar to go home. Bush set the fucking Middle East on fire, ladies and gentlemen. Iraq, 1 million people. And Joe Biden was the Democrat who pushed it the hardest in the House. So let's not forget about that in the Senate, by the way. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, Kathy Lloyd, I did see you. You signed up. That is the third person today. There's your 3 shirts. Kathy Lloyd hits up convocouch@gmail.com, and we will send you out a shirt. Size, male, female, and we'll go from there. I will pick the color. Fam, we have another tweet out there that we kind of have to talk about it because it's nuanced in the tweet. It's kind of funny because I was going to get up her tweet from last year when she was standing up with the families of the victims of the buildings who wanted answers, the people in the planes who wanted answers from the Saudis and the Saudi government and who they were hiding from. And I remember her standing up with it because there's a lot of nuance over here. Yeah. That whole I'm a dove on love or I'm a hawk on terror, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
That kind of stems
which
from
has
this,
made a lot of people on the left uncomfortable about her, because a lot of people on the left are pacifists or like non-interventionists, period. So she still has that whole she went. I respect her opinion because she actually fought. Yeah. And she went there and she saw things that none of us have seen. So I respect that. I'm more of like, I don't support, I don't support any sort of thing. But I mean, she is right that there were groups. However, I would like to talk more about how those groups got there. Yeah,
we should start with that. You want to start with the first part of the tweet, like so many?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Oh, okay. So many, the 9/11 attack on our country by Al-Qaeda changed my life forever. It was my motivation to serve our country in uniform and led to my conviction that the ideology fueling Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and other jihadists is the greatest threat to our country, our values, and freedoms. Mm-hmm. It is my determination to never forget who the enemy is that has guided my policy positions regarding the regime change wars in Iraq, Libya, and Syria. Unfortunately, too many of our leaders in mainstream media have long forgotten who attacked us on 9/11, forgotten who the enemy is, and they would like us to forget as well. Long forgotten is President Bush's declaration to the world that you're either with us or against us in the war against Al-Qaeda and Islamist terrorists. We ally ourselves with Islamist dictatorships like Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and others who directly arm and empower Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and jihadists. Thus, our jihadist enemies carry U.S. weapons and are paid handsomely by our so-called friends. Yet it is I and others who have not forgotten who our enemy is and who have been repeatedly smeared as being, quote, un-American or, quote, disloyal to our country and, of course, Islamophobic. Never in the history of our country have patriots focused on defeating the enemy been labeled as, quote, traitors by the actual traitors who have chosen to become apologists for or allies with the enemy. Hashtag never forget.
So, what do you want to talk about with Eric and stuff like that? Because here's the thing.
I agree with her talking about how we have allied ourselves with these groups. We funded, we created and funded them. Okay, we created and funded Al-Qaeda way before 9/11.
The Mujahideen.
Exactly.
In the Afghanistan, because they were killing Russians. And we were smuggling in through Xinjiang weapons, which are now the Uyghurs and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We planted the seed of fundamentalism.
Right.
They talked about how destructive these groups are. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say they're not the every single they're not like the every single day Muslim person out there. What's not? And that's the problem.
Extremist groups? And she's right.
Awful.
Yes, there are. But we fucking did this.
We're the ones who, and she says that we ally ourselves with Islamic dictatorships like Turkey, who directly arm and empower Al-Qaeda, ISIS, jihadists.
I mean, she's not flat out saying it's the CIA, but I mean, it can be understood that's what happened, and you can read the records. I mean, it's all there. It's all there.
I mean, it is
WikiLeaks too.
We talk from all the way back from the Mujahideen, and she's always understood that's who is the enemy in Tulsi's mind, and in Tulsi's mind, that this particular type of fundamentalist has to be destroyed or wiped out, or I don't know what what I'm saying, but she clearly sees them as part of the enemy. You know what I'm saying? And funded by the United States through these regime change wars. She never leaves that out, but she's seen her soldiers, her friends die at the hands of these Islamic groups. So, I mean, she wants answers for what happened for the victims of 9/11. You know what I'm saying? She's been fighting, and they were supposed to declassify. Remember Donald Trump? He promised the victims. He says, we're going to give you that information. Well, he never gave you the information. Barr closed the books. We never got the information from who was involved.
But on the other end, there were a lot of innocent people that were killed that had absolutely nothing to do with these crazy jihadists. Yeah. And not just by our drone, but direct like civilians killed, the torture, sanctions, all of these things that happened thereafter, which also needs to be answered for. So for me, I'm of the opinion that we are not the police of the world. Here I go again. Like this is what it is. I do not want to go and teach these people anything because I think it'll backfire. But however, I mean, I understand her point of view. She went into this war thinking it was one thing, and then got a rude awakening. In that respect,
I think if we put it in Rand or Ron Paul's hands or any libertarians, they'd say just pull out right away and get out of there and don't do anything. I think if you left it up to Tulsi Gabbard, she would probably have some type of plan to withdraw that would include going after jihadists or certain groups, and then maybe possibly
probably
pull
like
out.
a special
I don't know
forces.
which is the better answer, which is the what I'm saying, because we look what happened in Syria, and once these groups get into some of these cities, they don't get out, and they are just awful. They are awful to women. They are awful to minorities. They are awful to awful to Christians.
It depends on ideology, right? Can you reform these people? Can you jail these people? I don't know what George Galloway would do because he's against all forms of what's it called
intervention.
No, he's against when you commit a crime of like super high crime. He's
torture?
Against what's it called? He's against
crimes against humanity.
Yeah, but he's against killing people.
Yeah,
for
execution.
Execution. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same
the death
time,
penalty.
Okay, but at the same
against the
time,
death penalty.
Yeah.
We're missing too what Israel has done and what Israel continues to do to people. So we can talk about the radical Islamists all we want, but until we go after Israel, who we should be going after because they're committing genocide on the Palestinians, and Saudi Arabia, which he does mention,
Netanyahu's Israel. Let's be specific.
Well, Netanyahu's Israel, but the government, government of Israel. But what I'm saying is, you can't just point out the extremist Muslims without also pointing out the extremist Zionists that exist.
But here's the thing. They go after Hezbollah, Hamas. Totally different. Totally different to Al-Qaeda, totally different than ISIS, totally different to the Mujahideen. You know what I'm saying? Hezbollah has actually done some good work in Beirut and those other areas, whatnot, and stuff like that. Hezbollah is in Iran, you know what I'm saying? So, and Hamas. I mean, a lot of people, I don't look at Hezbollah and Hamas on the same level as Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
No, they're definitely not
totally
at the same level at all.
I mean, it's very nuanced, right? So
no, they're not on the same level at all. But what I'm saying is, it's really easy to call out the Muslim people for their extremism. But but Israel does this all the time, and they're our number one ally.
And then what about the extremism of the Christianity, like the white supremacist extremists, right?
Right.
So
that's the United States government.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So so again, those are my reservations. I mean, I agree overall with what she's saying, but it's for me, it's like, well, then we should also go after these people and these people and these people. But I don't think it should be just us. I think it should be a coalition of people saying, you know what, this is dangerous for everybody. Let's unify and intervene together, if you were going to do that, rather than just continue being the police of the world.
Yeah. And Operation Mongoose, fan, you go back to then, right? We started funding the Mujahideen. We couldn't just stay out of it. We had to get involved. And it started off a chain of events that is affecting us today. From right then and there, because we had to be geopolitically against the Russians by arming fanatics, the Mujahideen.
Yep.
Whether Russia had a reason to be in there or not in Afghanistan in the 80s, early 80s, whatnot, we shouldn't have gotten involved. Yep. But we did, and that was under Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, which is
it's the friggin' empire.
That exactly.
Johnny, you gotta play it. I gotta hear it because now I'm dying to hear it.
Yeah, so we talk about how we fund Saudi Arabia and all these.
Talking about Gaddafi, wow, what a horrible dictator. Gaddafi is this big dictator. They go bomb that country with the blessing of Hillary. Hillary says, we came, we saw, and I think
he died.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. It's so shocking, so disgusting. Now there is a slave trade. Libya is harboring slave trade.
See,
Fam, you look a little younger there. That seems so long ago.
No, it's just a short hair pasta.
I got the long hair. It's the thing.
So now we just have a bunch of memes because I posted a status today, and I'll go into it later. But so a lot of people, I said, 9/11 was an inside job in the sense of, we were lied to, blah, blah, blah. But people started putting these memes on me. So, Pasta, was 9/11 an inside job?
I don't know, Fiorella conspiracy,
because we still
Mallorca.
Can't. Exactly. So, I don't understand. This is what I'm saying. Like, we can't even discuss this without people still talking about a conspiracy theory.
Johnny conspiracy. What happened? What's your thoughts? Building 7. Come on.
Well, if you listen to the engineers.
Yes, and you are an engineer.
Something about the heat. Jet fuel can't melt steel. Sorry, that's a meme. It's a meme. There's something there.
No,
it
can't.
There's something.
It's not possible to melt that steel that was there to make it go down the way it did go down. And Building 7, 2 planes, 3 buildings went down. How did Building 7 just go down? It just went down.
A conspiracy network.
How did 2 planes make 3 buildings fall? Why is there no footage of the plane that hit the Pentagon? There was a big conspiracy on that one too as well. There was a video I saw a while ago. Why did planes vaporize at the Pentagon in Pennsylvania? Just gone. Why didn't NORAD respond? Who knows? How did 3 steel frame buildings collapse for the first time in history on the same day? Why were there running war games during the attack? That's crazy. Why was everyone responsible promoted instead of fired? Well, that's America.
The United States.
Democracy, I know. Why did the 9/11 Commission ignore and omit crucial info and fail to follow up on important leads? But remember, you are America-hating conspiracy theorists for even asking these questions instead of believing the government.
Who has continuously lied to you time and time again.
The Mossad agents that got arrested outside, the whole Mossad agents thing.
And Julian Assange is in jail for some of this.
Now this is an appropriate picture.
This is really weird to me.
But this is an appropriate picture of him.
Freaked out.
This is the George Bush that we need to look like a little boy throwing paper airplanes on the ground. This guy, they call him Cheeto and Donald Trump. This guy used to eat Cheetos and bologna sandwiches on Wonder Bread and vote for me. Does anyone else think it's weird that Jeffrey Epstein had a painting of George Bush playing with paper airplanes sitting in front of 2 collapsed Jenga towers?
Isn't that, I just think that's freaking weird.
Bush family, Clinton family, intertwined, my friend. Intertwined.
And then shameless plug, 9/11 was an inside job in the sense that the CIA created Al-Qaeda and the government lied, falsely stating Iraq had weapons of mass destruction to push regime change. That's what it was all about, regime change. And millions died. We're still in the Middle East spending billions, and Assange is in prison for exposing their war crimes. American exceptionalism is posting the faces of thousands of Americans who died, #neverforget, and still pretending we really went to war to save democracy against terrorists, instead of the truth that we murdered millions of innocent brown people and our own people on a pack of lies.
On a pack of lies. 22 soldiers still coming home, shooting themselves in the head every day from these wars
but
right here.
But we support our troops.
R.I.P. The 2,996 Americans who died in 9/11. R.I.P. the 1,455,590 innocent Iraqis who died during the U.S. invasion for something they didn't do, and also millions displaced. The Middle East set on fire.
Yep.